Hey YouTube, it's Sandra with Black Knight Studios backing in with another YouTube video. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel so you can just follow this documentation, my vlog series journey of making comic books. So I just want to start out with saying, as far as this week goes, that first things first, I finished, obviously touched upon this last week with Spirits of the West. It has been completed and everything, and it is going to be ready and it's going to upload on September 5th here on Webtoons. But just make sure, since it's rated M, mature, you will want to create an account to read it, just because there's some mature themes and some words in it that, and some themes, like I was trying to, I tried to change my rating, but Webtoons wouldn't allow me to. So I was, but I don't want to change the context of it either, just because that's how I kind of wrote the story, and I wanted to be told the way it is. I feel like it would kind of change the whole story if I had to lower the rating. So that's one thing you guys should do, is if you haven't already, create an account on Webtoons and make sure to have an account, obviously be 18 or older, I don't know, but obviously to read it as mature. I know it is what it is, but I had to have done that. So just make sure to do that. On that note, there's a huge heat wave. There was a heat wave earlier here in Chicago. It was like 95 degrees, 80% humidity. I think that was very interesting, as always. Summer here in the Midwest is always like crazy weather. We get extreme hot and extreme colds, So another thing I want to talk about as far as this week goes is I've been working on some painting studies. You could just check them out. I did some ice textures, I did some cloth rendering, some gold. I'm going to be doing maybe a metal one later today or later this week, so I could be able to do that. I'm just trying to really get better at painting, and I think it's turning out pretty good, actually. I'm not bad at this whole painting stuff. So I'm definitely trying to improve that, be good at what's it called, like just to paint, be good at rendering, because I'm good at like drawing and sketching and doing pen and ink and stuff, but it's never really been anything too, I wasn't really good at it like as the painting stuff. So I'm trying to do that. And I also did like a study last Saturday actually about from a Pokemon frame, and you could probably see it on ArtStation. And I'm just trying to get better at the background. I'm actually pretty impressed with how the background turned out. I was really, really happy with that. And it was, and I also have to start doing start editing the video for the coffee shop that will premiere later this year on my YouTube channel here. Shout out to Aaron Wagner again. I'm gonna get the files for that and start editing that, like after work and all that stuff. So pretty exciting stuff, coming forward. But on that note, I do want to unveil my next project that I'll be tackling after the coffee shop, and then after Spirits of the West premieres on Webtoons. It'll be my next one-shot that will also premiere on Webtoons, but that'll be like later next year, but something I will be. So as far as what I want to do with the YouTube channel right now, I will still continue to document. So maybe a lot of like comic book artists or storyboard artists or animators used to have like a blog spot. I want to kind of use this as my blog spot, basically. Where I am like recording and then just doing these weekly updates. Like back then artists would like post their, like what they would do weekly, or what they would do weekly, what updates they did, like what job opportunities, what projects they're working on. I figured this could be the blog spot, of the 2020s. I don't know. Because when I started this YouTube channel originally, it was because of Sir Wade Neistad. When I was back in 2020, when I was going back to school to become an animator, and in his video, I don't remember which video it was, but he stated specifically how he wishes he documented his journey from the beginning of becoming an animator to the end. And then because he started documenting, but it was like way when he was over it. So I kind of originally started that, but I kind of moved away from animation. So I haven't really done that. So that's like a little like side note as far as that goes. And that's how this YouTube channel pretty much came to be. But anyways, enough of my rambling. Let's get on to the project. So there were these 2 one-shots. I will read them from my screen here. So there's 2 little projects. So the first one is called Riemann, which came to me in a dream, actually, way back in 2019, right before the pandemic, actually. And I was it was in September, I was at my friend's birthday party. We're having a bonfire. It's a typical thing here in the Midwest here. And I had like a beer or something to drink, and then I had this weird dream where there's like this experiments going on, and like this guy discovers this thing in the attic, and he's just like, he discovers these experiments on these kids. So I kind of want to go do like a horror film, and I'm going to read a little excerpt from the idea of the plot. It's called, In Present-Day America, a family moves to the countryside, a small town in the Midwest, to a house built in 1957. The father finds an old box of photographs from 1957 titled Riemann Experiments. The Riemann Experiments were a series of experiments performed in the backyard of the house in a barn. In it, scientists took abandoned orphan children and did experiments on them by mutating animal DNA. I know, I'm thinking now that I read this is before I watched Stranger Things. I got into Stranger Things, by the way, so that's a whole nother thing I could talk about. But now I'm thinking about it, like watching Stranger Things, and the idea I had, I wonder if I could develop that. Now, for my second other one-shot idea, is called Grim Reaper of the Graveyard, titled TBA. I'm still not sure what the title is. Grim Reaper Weston West owns his own graveyard cemetery where people come to him to die. Business is dying since not many souls people want to be buried at his cemetery because of his arch nemesis Grim Reaper Francis. Grim Reaper Weston doesn't want to sell his cemetery and is 2 souls away from bankruptcy. He has another problem. A young couple in their 20s passes away. However, they don't want to die. They refuse to be accepted to die. They don't, they're in their 20s, they want to party, they want to have a good life, Grim Reaper Francis wants to give them a second chance at life so that Grim Reaper Francis can buy Grim Reaper's Weston Cemetery because he went bankrupt 2 souls away. So this is just like, now this story that I have so I'm going to do this one next. If you guys are interested about the Grim Reaper, I don't know, I guess I have a fascination with like weird underworld spiritual stuff. So that's that. So I started like in the past week, I started going on Pinterest, looking at ideas. I'm heavily inspired. I want to get like a graffiti grunge look from the 90s, like Nirvana. And then I'm trying to get like some graffiti art for like Mike Shinoda. I'm a big fan of like Linkin Park and his artwork. By the way, he's an artist, if no one has known that already. He does these really cubism. I don't know, very similar to Picasso. I was not Picasso, but it's abstract stuff. So I'm really like a big fan of that. And I do want to read some more, so I'm already like writing this document of, I'm going to create these characters. So there might be like 4 characters mostly in it. So this couple basically dies in Arizona. They're driving through the desert. Yes, the desert again. I love the desert. I've been to Palm Springs way back in 2021. I was supposed to go to LA. However, during the pandemic, LA wasn't a shutdown, so I had to go to Palm Springs. But it was such a good trip. Oh, one of my favorite trips to this day. But anyways, so the story is they're driving through the Grand Canyon and they die, basically. So now they're in the underworld. They have to accept their fate that they died, like Yu Yu Hakusho in the opening. So that's my heavy inspiration. And now that's what I have so far. That's my preview for my next project. I hope, guys can continue to follow my journey. And, if you liked Spirits of the West and if you like it, I would like you got, Grim Reaper. I don't know, Grim Reaper, Billy and Mandy. That's a good one too. So that is what I have for this week, and I shall see you all next week. Ciao.